This video will walk you through how to create PDFs that have fillable text fields. The first thing we need to do is make sure you have the correct version of Adobe installed on your computer. Go to the web address shown on the screen. From there, you want to download the version that says Adobe Acrobat Pro DC. You might already have an Acrobat reader on your computer, but we need the functionality that's found in the Pro version. So go ahead and click Download Pro Trial. It's a big file package, so it'll probably take a few minutes for the Pro Trial version to download to your computer, but after it downloads, go ahead and walk through the installation process to install it. You'll find the software in your applications. Go to your Finder window and select Applications to locate the software, just as you would any other program on your computer. Somewhere in the process, either before the software downloads or after it has downloaded and the first time you try to open it, you will be asked to sign in to Adobe. If you have an Adobe Pro account, you can go ahead and log in with that account here. If not, you can use the free version, the trial that they are offering, and then choose at the end whether or not you wish to purchase it. Then, like I said, either your download will continue or your Adobe Acrobat Pro DC will open up. You can tell you're logged in because it will say Welcome to Adobe Acrobat and have your name. And if you click on the information in the upper right corner, the circle, it will show that you are signed in. Now that you have the Adobe Pro software installed, you can do some things with PDFs that you couldn't do before, like make a PDF have fillable fields that your students can type on. I'm going to show you 3 different examples of what this could look like. As teachers, we often have Word documents that have a text with space next to it for students to annotate as they read. So the first example I'm going to show you is how to take a Word document that has space to the right where you want students to annotate and turn that into a PDF with fillable spaces. You can see in my example, I've gone ahead into the right column and I typed specific questions at different points where I wanted students to notice something there about the text. So in my instructions to my students, I will prompt them to stop when they see a question and answer it before continuing reading. And you can see I also have a few open-ended questions at the end. To convert the Word document into a PDF, go to File, pick Save As, and then change the file format to PDF. Now when you save it, it saves it as a PDF file that you can work with. Put it on your desktop or somewhere you can easily find it. Then we're going to open the PDF in the Adobe Acrobat software and add our fillable fields. When you open the document, you'll see that it's the PDF file that we're opening. And you'll want to make sure that you're logged in with the email that you set up your trial account for, or the account that you're operating under if you've gone ahead and purchased. Along the right margin of the window are a bunch of icons. Those are the PDF tools, and there's one toward the bottom called Prepare Form. If for some reason you don't see that Prepare Form icon, you can go up to View, Tools, and select Prepare Form from that list. Okay, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on Prepare Form, which is going to turn the document into something we can now add editable fields to. You should see this screen once you click on Prepare Form, which is the document that you have open, and click Start. Adobe has a smart feature where it tries to identify what you might want to have fillable. So you may need to scroll through your document and see if it put any fillable fields in somewhere where you really don't want any. If you have any of those, just highlight them and hit Delete to get rid of them. The Prepare Form toolbar is where we will add our fields. The fourth icon in is a little box with a T, and that will add a spot for text on your document. So you can see here I'm adding a text box for student name, and I'm going to stretch it across all the way. It says text 1 in the field, but if I double click that, a properties box comes up where I can make some changes. And just to prompt students what to put there, I'm going to change text 1 to say name. You don't have to change those because clearly I have prompts on the page itself that students will understand their name goes there. So that's my first text box field, and I'm happy with the other properties that it has, so just click close. I'm going to go through my document, through my annotations column, and I'm going to add more text box fields where students can type in their answers to my questions. I'm reducing the zoom a little bit because I want to see more of my page on my screen. Okay, so I have what is the topic of his speech. I want a text box under that. I click that add text box field and I drag it over and put it where I want it. I'm going to stretch it so it fits the annotations column, and they're probably going to have more than one line of typing, so I'm going to stretch and make the box bigger. If I double click on the box to bring up the properties, I want to change it from text 2 to read something that goes along with the question, and I want to go and click that multi-line option because this one may have more than one line of text, so we want students to be able to type more than one line. So you can see here I'm adding it again under my next question. Going to stretch it to fit my column, double click it for properties, make sure multi-line is checked, go back to general, change text 3 to something that fits with the question, and close. So you're just going to go through and do that for each of your annotation questions. If you didn't want to put annotation questions in this column and you just wanted to leave it where students just had a big open field where they could type whatever annotations they want based on another prompting, or you just want to see the kinds of things they notice, you can just make one big text field in that annotations column. I like using the prompting questions, especially in our remote learning environment, so students can recall the types of things I want them to pay attention to as they're reading a text. Now this next question, even though the paragraph starts on one page and where they might find their answers crosses over to the next, I'm just going to go ahead and put 2 text boxes. And in my question, I actually wrote, I don't know if you can read it there, but it says continue on next page if needed. So I'm going to add a text box on this page. And then I'm going to go ahead and add another text box on the next page if they want to make a comment on something that crossed over into the next page for that question. Hopefully, seeing this process repeated several times, you get a feel for just how easy and quick it can be to add text boxes to your document. So that's it for the text boxes in the annotations column, but I still have these open-ended questions. And same process, we're going to add a text field. We're just going to click and drag it underneath the questions. And I'm going to stretch it to reach across the whole page because I think students might want that kind of room. So I'm going to go ahead and add those fields here. My last question is more of a short answer where there will be probably a paragraph worth of text. So I'm going to, using the same text box field, I'm going to put it underneath the question, and then I'm just going to expand it so it's a little bit larger of a space to type in. So students get the idea that it is definitely expected that this is multi-line. And again, in general, change the properties and make sure multi-line is selected. You can go back through your document, make sure all your text boxes look good, that they are where they need to be, and that you didn't miss any questions. And when you're happy with it, there is a close button in the right part of the Prepare Form field toolbar, and there you go. So it should save it. If you do File Save, it will just save over what you already had. But if you want to save it to a different location or give your fillable one a different name, you pick Save As, and then just choose where you want to save it. Like I said, if you want to give it a different name, you can, or keep it the same name. And it'll be in the location you saved it, ready to upload to your Canvas assignment. The second example I'm going to show you is for when you have downloaded a PDF from a website or from somewhere else and you want to add fillable fields to it for your students to use. So have a look at this example. This is a graphic organizer that was downloaded from the TED Talk website. It's intended for students or adults, whoever watches the TED Talk, to fill it in as they are watching and listening and help organize the ideas. But the TED Talk PDF, as it comes, is not fillable, meaning you can't type on it. It's meant to be printed. So I can go ahead and take their PDF and I can add fillable forms so that my students can type on it. The process is pretty much similar to what we've just done, but there are a couple things I want to show you. When I open the PDF and I click on Prepare Form, which is in the menu list to the right, the icon, it's going to ask, is this open document the one you want to work with? It is, so I hit Start. You can see here it also filled in some forms, but it did a little bit better job getting them where I might want some of them. It didn't pick up on all of them, but it did pick up on quite a few of them. So I can just resize and adjust what the Adobe Acrobat software did. And I want to make sure they're multi-line. And I can, by just clicking and dragging the edges of it, I can have them fit the spaces. So I will start by going ahead and adjusting the ones that are already there because they are ones I'm going to need anyway. So in places where it did not pick up that I wanted a field, I will go ahead and, using the same insert tool that we used on the other document, I will add them in as I come across those fields. So it's that same text tool, and just resize it, check the properties, and keep going. With all my fields added, the one last thing I want to do is add a place for students to type their name. There isn't a spot for that on the field. So up in the Prepare Form toolbar, there's an Add Text icon. I can click that, and then putting that cursor wherever I want it, I can just start typing, and I type the word name. I can't see anything, and I can look along the right margin and see that the font is white. That doesn't work for me because my paper is white. So if you click on that font color, you can change it. So now I have my font there. I also don't like the font that they have pre-selected. I'm going to highlight that, and using the formatting tool, I'm just going to pick an Arial font that will be a little easier to read. And I want it bigger than 10 point, I can change that. So you can use the text formatting to add text to a PDF, and then use that text box tool there to add a place for students to actually type their name. And I'm going to put that in the properties. So there. So that is how you can add text and add fields to an existing form as well. Happy with my form, I click Close. And then I'm going to save. Now I want to save the original TED Talk worksheet, so I'm definitely going to do Save As and pick a different name for this one so that I still have that original TED Talk one. So I'm just going to add TED Talk worksheet. I'm just going to add Fillable after it so that I know that that's my fillable document. And that's it for that one. That's how you can take someone else's PDF, add fillable text boxes, and even add text where you need to. Our last example, I'm going to show you what if you need to start from scratch. What is the easiest way to make a graphic organizer or some kind of chart for your students to type on? So this is going to start in Word. So you're going to open a blank Word document. Go ahead and type a place for students to put their name. You can do it on the document or up in the header, and you'll type any instructions that you want to give students. I'll make a two-text graphic organizer, a comparison graphic organizer. So my instructions will say, after reading each text, answer the questions below. I find one of the easiest tools to work with is to insert a table. So the table helps already prompt the PDF filler to have to recognize that there are some pre-made spaces there that I want students to type onto. So I'm inserting a table, and I'm going to make it 3 columns. You can have it fit whatever needs you have. I know I'm going to need a column for my questions and then a column for each of my texts. So my first column will be question, and then a place for the answers for text 1 and for text 2. And so just go ahead and format that however you want it to look. I like to have my headings centered and do a little color in the background, and there you go. Okay, so you're basically going to make a table where you're going to ask your questions in the question column, and then students will reply for the 2 different texts that you have them read, or whatever it is in the right. So bear with me, I'm just going to go ahead and create a sample for us here. Now I'm just making a generic graphic organizer, a 2-text graphic organizer that I can use for any 2 texts. So I probably want to go ahead and add a place for students to insert the title of the text and the author name. So by right-clicking in your table, you can select Insert Rows if you've forgotten to add a row of information that you know you need. So right-click, pick Insert, Row, above or below, and you can add rows to your text. So I've added title of the text and author name. So now I'm pretty happy with my graphic organizer. I want to save it first as the Word document, so if I do need to come back to it, I can come back and make changes. So I'm going to save it as my Word document. In a place I'll find it again. But now I'm also going to go ahead and save it as a PDF. So save as, and then I change file format to PDF. And I export it as a PDF because we're going to open it in Adobe Acrobat, and we're going to make sure it has fillable fields. So now, in just the same way as we did the others, we open the PDF. I'm going to reduce the zoom so I can see it a little better. And now when I hit Prepare Form and Start, you can see that it read my table columns a lot more cleanly than it did the other 2 documents we worked with. It actually added a prepared fillable form for each place I wanted one. So the only thing I need to do on this one now is to add my student name field. And we do that the same way we did the others. So you'll go ahead and hit close when you're finished, and there you have it. You have your 2-text graphic organizer. Save it in a place where you will be able to find it again. And you're ready now. You can upload this to your Canvas assignment to support whatever texts your students are reading. If you need more help on how to have the PDF available for your students through Canvas, you can watch the video that we have called Download, Edit, Submit a Canvas File on the iPad. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this helpful.